This is the first video on the channel, and I'm outside feeling pretty anxious about it because I don't like to be overheard, but whatever. I can't find a place that's more remote. I mean, I probably could, but whatever. Just wanted to make a video talking about being a NEET. Hopefully there's enough enough space on this machine. If not, I just have to redo or pause. Anyway, as you could probably tell if I put it in the title, this is gonna be a NEET video, not the Indian exam, which is I think when you put in NEET in YouTube, on YouTube you get this fucking Indian exam thing, I think. But no, it's about being a Western NEET, not in employment, education or training. In other words, something like a hikikomori, although the two are not really the same. They're very similar. And yeah, I guess I couldn't keep it in anymore, you know. I've been trying to find ways of expressing myself. I have a story in my head. You know, I have kind of a story developing in my head that I want to tell. I am a kind of a writer, but I also thought about becoming an artist. But I can't draw, and I tried, and I don't really like it. You know. So then I thought about making YouTube videos like this, and the reason why I'm doing this is because it's the easiest. You know, I feel like I've kind of given up. I feel like YouTube is this void for people who just have given up, and so, you know, they can't make it big, so they just relegate themselves here. Pathetic, but that seems to be true. That seems to be a trend, and I'm contributing to that now. But you know, I always felt like this past few years I've been trying to get it out, and I couldn't. I have basically nobody, you know, to talk to about this, and yet I feel like I have talent. You know, I feel like I'm pretty funny. I feel like I'm fairly intelligent. I probably have a good voice, and yet I feel like I can't get it out. You know, I feel like I've been relegated to this shit, walking in the middle of nowhere, kind of, just so people don't hear me. I feel like shit. Anyway, so I guess I just want to talk about how I feel. I'll tell you how I feel. I feel like shit. You know. Just feel like absolute shit. I feel like there's no hope. I saw something, but it was just some kind of... I don't know what the fuck that is. Anyway. I feel like there's no hope. I feel like the walls are closing in, and I have nowhere to go. That's why I'm making this shitty fucking video. Just to tell you about it. I mean, technically speaking, I should be fine. You know, it seems like I'll have enough money to survive. But I screwed up many times. I screwed up a lot of things, you know. Could have had a lot more money, but I won't, because I fucked up on crypto. I had some shitty fucking friendships, didn't mean much. I had a girlfriend, it didn't go well. You know, I'm not gonna shit on her, but yeah, basically, she was not very good by the end of it. And it only happened by accident, you know, I didn't try. It was just a matter of situation. But the whole thing is, it's good for experience, but basically it sucks, you know. It sucked. I never really had a true deep friendship with anybody. I had friends when I was a kid, a few, but it's not the kind of friendship you have when you're older. And I haven't had a proper one. I'm scared of normal people. Normal people could be good friends because they're not insane. But I'm scared of them, and I could never attract them. When I see normal people, I just look at, they almost look like aliens to me. I don't understand how they can function normally, you know. And so I'm just fucking terrified. I have no idea how to establish contact. I've had contact with them because of just the situation. And every time I interact with them, I'm like, you could be a friend, but you're not like me. You're never gonna understand, you know. And then I couldn't maintain them anyway, because I was separated, you know, because I'm a NEET. I tried programming school and I failed out because I'm stupid. I can't do math. Well, I'm not stupid, but I can't do math. And so I failed out miserably like a fucking retard. I applied to university, but I reneged, you know. I pulled my application at the last moment because I thought I couldn't handle it, and I was right. Of course I couldn't. I would not have handled it. I'm interested in philosophy. I'm a pretty, you know, I'm not a dumb fellow. I'm just trying to be honest. But I just can't make it work, you know. I just I can't make it work. I don't know how to say what I want to say. I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble for saying it because I have a lot of controversial opinions because of my pessimism. I just feel like some things that most people accept don't make any sense. And, you know, in today's culture, people are very sensitive. And if you say the wrong thing, you're fucked. So what if one day I make it and then somebody finds these videos where I say something that I shouldn't? And, you know, don't get me wrong, I'm a progressive. But still, there are things that don't seem to make a lot of sense. You know, that if I talked about, they would just think I'm a weird. They might cancel me for it. Like, you know, something like how, you know, antinatalism or something. Or just, you know, how easily offended people are, and if I said that's bad, they would think I'm some conservative. You know, it's. I don't even want to talk about it because I don't want to get myself in trouble. I'm a decent guy. I'm a progressive guy. I'm just saying I can't fit society. And I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to attract the wrong crowd. You know. I feel like if I make these videos, I'll probably attract some fucking creepy weirdos from the right wing. And I have no interest in that. Like, here's a controversial opinion, okay? Fuck it. People demonize incels nowadays. But if you look at the definition of incel, it just means you're involuntarily celibate. It doesn't say that you're a misogynist, right? And, you know, if I went and defended incels, I would get in trouble. I might already get in trouble now. But being an incel just means you're an involuntarily celibate person. You can't fuck, you can't get it done, you know? You can't get it. And you can't even say that, you're finished. I feel like it's just a witch hunt. Kicking people down, kicking people when they're already down. I'm not an incel, but I'm close to an incel because I'm a neat. But you know, it's things like this. It's things that don't make sense to me. You know, I want to debate people, but I don't have confidence. I would probably stutter. Debating is mostly just about charisma. People who have more charisma win. And if you don't have a lot of charisma, you're probably fucked. You know, the dominate. The person who is very confident will dominate you. I feel like politics is just. It's just a popularity contest. You know. And I don't think it's based on anything objective because there's no objective value in the universe. It's really just a popularity, you know. If you can marshal enough people behind your cause, you win. And if you have a nice British accent, you win. You know. Or you could talk about men and how sexist the society is, but not just towards women, but towards men. And how people don't really give too much of a shit. Like I was in a... I'm not gonna repeat the obvious, right? I'm not gonna give you the statistics or whatever. I don't even know them off the top of my head, but you know what I mean. But you know, I'll tell you some personal anecdotes, right? So it's things like you're in the classroom and you have this fucking what seems like a sexist teacher, a female one, and you know she's like, let's have all the girls. This was night school, like we were adults, and this woman goes, let's get the woman in the front because women are pretty, or you know, she said they are prettier than the men, and it's like, why would you say something like that? Why don't you say that we are pretty too? You know? And then she said she went on another ramble about, you know, anti-female sexism, which, okay, it's fine, but why don't you say something about men too? I mean, in the very country in which you live, Hungary, women can retire after 40 years of labor, but men can't. Like, you understand this discrimination, right? You know, but she doesn't mention that. People are just captured by ideology. Like, I'm not trying to push some ideology on you here. I'm just looking out. I'm just looking in. I'm saying people are diseased. They're fucked by ideology. And I just don't see any hope for the world. But it's not because of modernity or some bullshit. I just think there never was any hope. You know, you look at how the world works and you flinch. You have politics, you have science, you have religion. And all these things offer you the same out. What they offer you is utopia. You know, they sell you the idea of utopia. And it's like, it's the same delusion, right? Different methods to reach the same bullshit that doesn't exist. There is no utopia. The fundamental mechanism of the universe will never allow it. You know, before we could get to a state of, you know, of an ideal world with technology and science, like if you want to go down the transhumanist route, We would destroy ourselves before we would ever get there. You understand that, right? You understand that we would just destroy ourselves. Like all these weapons that are used in the Russia-Ukraine war. Look at the Wikipedia list. Look at all the weapons that are used there. I think there are like 6, 7, 800 types of weapon. Billions and billions, I don't even know how many, billions and billions of dollars worth of weapons and tools. All used to kill people. Where the fuck are you gonna store them? Like, how people talk about getting rid of nuclear weapons. Okay, how do you get rid of these? Are you gonna have a world government? And how are you gonna ensure the world government is not going to become corrupt? Every single time there's a piece of technology, it's misused. The wheel has been misused. It's been turned into tanks. It's been, tank wheels. Train wheels, all kinds of wheels that, took people to the concentration camp or to the extermination camp. Fire. When human beings discovered fire, they made it into a flamethrower. A flame fucking thrower. Can you believe that shit? When we split the atom, the scientists even warned that it was a bad idea. I read about it. They just did it anyway. And they probably did it because they were afraid the Nazis would get there first. I understand, but the point is, they couldn't get to an agreement. Just don't do it. Because they were at war. And we're not going to get to an agreement now because people are at war. They hate each other. They despise each other everywhere. North Korea against South Korea. China against the US. Russia against Ukraine and NATO. A lot of Hungarians hate Romania for taking away some of our turf. Grievances from the past are never healed. Grievances are never healed. But and they don't. The people who are at fault for the crimes, sometimes they don't even apologize. Like, I know Japan has been trying to apologize, but it seems like, from what I've read, there's still a lot of sentiment that, there's a lot of racism against the victims, and apparently the textbooks don't teach what the Japanese did in World War II sufficiently. And there was even a Japanese guy who, spent his career, or some of his career, advocating for that to be amended. To have textbooks which would cover the crimes of Imperial Japan sufficiently. And look, I'm not saying I know too much about this. So I research a lot of stuff, but typically I'm too lazy to go too deep. So you can double check me, But I'm not going on a crazy rant, like all this is true, basically, right? I'm not bullshitting here, right? I'm not just a crazy man in the forest, right? I'm making some kind of sense. Okay, so, I'm saying that science will never get us there. You have these transhumanists that I even respect, like David Pierce. I like him. I even emailed him once. He responded. I told him it's not gonna work. He was being nice about it, but he just gave me some insufficient answer about how, well, if we just topple animal agriculture, then all the other oppression will go down too. And it's like, how? Why? What evidence do you have that it will go down? Every time there's a new generation, there's a new generation of brainwashed people, indoctrinated into their own, into the given ideology of the country and the specific people and communities in the country. Nationalism here, nationalism there, religious fundamentalism, hate, bigotry, homophobia, transphobia, racism, xenophobia. It never ends. Never fucking ends. So technology has always been used to do bad. And it will be used to do bad in the future. Like I also wanted to mention, like when I was a kid and I was in like kindergarten. What the fuck kindergarten? Kindergarten? I'm not too good with pronunciation sometimes. I don't know, nursery school? No. That's like, I think it's kindergarten. Kindergarten. And you know, they would take us to, because we have a celebration every, we have a holiday, right? Multiple holidays, and they would take us to this site where there was a bunch of Hungarian flags, and it's supposed to be memorabilia for a specific what do you call it? Kind of like a liberation war of liberation, and and you just think, well, you're just indoctrinating me into this shit. Why do I need to care about this? What's so special about my own country that I need to be dragged here and look at the fucking flags and the statue, the statue, statue. They will indoctrinate me into their own specific bullshit. Like, this country is very homophobic, even especially now. Anyway, I don't want to go on too much of an incursion into that, but the point is, they will indoctrinate you. There will always be an element of hatred. There are some countries which do pretty good, but I doubt they will be the majority. Like, obviously, I like social democratic countries which are progressive, but I don't think they will ever reign. They're too weak. The strong will always win in the end. And like I said, the technology will always be misused. It has always been misused. You can't name me one fucking example where it hasn't been misused. The internet? Well, take your fucking pick. Scams, CP, addiction, just exploiting people's little minds, to make sure you stay on the website for as long as possible. Pay for little tokens in video games. Cryptocurrency, what the fuck has that done? And it's not just a personal grievance, but I made some money on it, but it's what the fuck has it accomplished? Even I saw a tweet from Vitalik Buterin, who's the creator of Ethereum, and he even said, like, do we deserve this? He said, crypto is pretty big now, but do we deserve it? And I think he said no. And yeah, what the fuck do we deserve? What? Bitcoin has made some people very rich, but mostly all it has done is just made some people who were already rich even richer, because they have the capital to invest enough so that if they lose, it's okay. So they invest a bunch of money, a few years later they pull it out and they have 10 times more money. And then people who are poor, they have to take bigger risks to make money because they have basically nothing. So they go for the 100x and the 1000x coins, and then they lose. What's so fucking great about this? Okay, maybe there's some technology to it, like I don't fucking know. uh, I know it's supposed to like streamline some specific procedures, but I don't really know much about it. And it's fine. But I'm saying, do we really deserve $1 trillion industry because of some irrigation systems or whatever, or some I don't know, route tracking systems? Do we really deserve all that money for such a little contribution? So where's communism? Communism has never worked. Communism has never worked. Every time we move away from the center left, there's just tragedy. You move to the far left, there's tragedy. You move to the far right, there's tragedy. So what do you want? It doesn't work. The best we can do is give up. Liberalism and this more humane form, social democracy, is just the politics of giving up. It's just understanding that utopia is never going to be accomplished. And so we need to give up. But people don't want to. China will never be a social democratic country because then it couldn't do its whole shtick. It will always repress people. It will always be a miserable place. Same here. Like, there will always be places that will be miserable, and there will always be war. The world is not Scandinavian social democracy. That's a very small pocket of luck and exploitation. That's how they have their money, for the most part. Or it's just luck. They have some natural resources, fine. A lot of exploitation in the global economy, okay. Then they treat their people nice, okay. But that's never going to be a universal solution. They don't run the world. They can't, because the world is run like wildlife, the prey and the predator. It's always been like that. If you go to the school ground, what you get is the popular kids beating on the unpopular kids. I saw this every fucking time, everywhere I went. One way or the other, they were always beaten or outcast, including me. And if you scale it up, it's the same thing. Your father beats you if he sucks, and your mother abandons you if she sucks. You go to when you grow up, you have your boss. He makes all the money, you get shit. And even if you get, I don't care. It's still, it's the same exploitation. He's the capitalist, and you're his little slave. Who is richer, you or him? Him. You make the money for him. If he has enough money, he doesn't have to work. But you do. So who wins? That's exploitation, fucker. Sorry. I don't want to hear some libertarian or some even social democratic people coming here and telling me that capitalism is okay. It's not okay. It's just the least bad option. But it doesn't make it okay. Don't tell me that shit. So at this point, I want to apologize for not being linear, to say the least. And I'm sorry if I mispronounce words. I'm not a native speaker, so it hurts to acknowledge, but I'm never gonna be good enough in English. Even though I've been studying it for years very hard. Anyway, I'm inferior in fucking everything. That's just some self-hatred, but whatever. I hope it makes some kind of sense. And Maybe talk a little bit about atheists. Just throwing a bunch of shit in here. I'm exploding like a fucking guy after, no, not November. I never do it. Most or less it was like 8 days, I think. Yeah. Anyway, so you have these atheists. You have these atheists, like the famous ones, which I really listened to when I was younger. They impressed me when I was younger. Christopher Hitchens, Sam Harris, Richard Dawkins. I mean, I never really cared about him, but Hitchens is definitely one of those guys who has an effect on you. And look at how these people act. They deny God. Correct, I think. There's no God. But then they start coping. Sam Harris keeps insisting there is objective morality because if you put your hand on the fucking hot stove, then it hurts. He just keeps asserting that it means anything. It doesn't. It doesn't produce objective morality. You're just saying that it hurts. And you're saying that we want to avoid it. So he copes with the horror of existence by pretending that there is something that justifies it. Because he has a hate boner for religion, so now he's gonna fight it with something else. It's as delusional as fucking American exceptionalism. You're fighting the big evil from the Middle East, and you're just as fucking bad. Okay, he's not as bad, but he's just as delusional. You know. And people like Christopher Hitchens, he would do the same thing, right? He would say, it's insulting. How dare you insult me? Insult me that if there's no God, I don't know, I couldn't tell right from wrong. Of course I can. And that's not the fucking question. How can these people be so smart and yet so stupid? Why am I smarter than them sometimes when I'm a nobody? You know, a lot of the times I listen to these famous people, and they disappoint me, and I think, wow, even I could do better. I'm not famous. How do they have the ego to think they deserve to be famous when they're so silly? You know. Well, I don't know if I'm out of the tank for now. Out of the tank. I don't know if my tank is empty for now, but I could go on forever. I could go on forever with all this injustice, all this horror. People being disgusting. I have nobody. I don't feel any hope. I'm a NEET. I want to get something out there, at least. Anyway, I guess if you're NEET, I want to hear from you too. How do you do? What are you doing? What are your hopes and dreams for the future? Especially if you're hikikomori. What's up? Just say whatever. I'm pretty sure I could talk more, but I need more. I need to be triggered. And the video is already long. So maybe I'll pause it and look for something else. Anyway, so since this is a NEET themed video, at the end of the day, pretty personal, I thought I would talk about me a little more. I've always been an outcast everywhere I went. I was an outcast everywhere I've been. I was an outcast even when I was in kindergarten. I remember there was like a spot where all the cool kids would go, and me and my singular friend couldn't go there. We were out. I don't know if we just didn't want to, or or they didn't let us. But we would never go there. And that kind of sentiment would remain with me forever. When I went to what do you call it? Middle school, yeah, middle school and high school. Because here the system is a little bit different. We don't have such a thing as junior high. Yeah, I think it's just elementary school. 8 years. 4 years in the sort of the lower class or whatever, the lower tier, and then the upper tier when you're older. And I would cry when my mom, because there was like some afternoon activity where, you know, I guess I was weak in some subject, and so there would be co-repetition. I think that's what it's called. You know, working on your weakness in a subject. And I would literally just cry. Please don't leave me here. It was excruciating. Once my parents left me in kindergarten for like the afternoon, and I would just cry as well. I think I kept it in, and when they brought me home, then I cried. And, you know, I never was popular, I never could be popular. I had a few friends. Those friends would mostly... listening for noises. I don't know. Those friends would either abandon me or just turn on me. One guy turned into... He accused me of being Roma. I don't know if I am, but I'm probably not. I don't fucking care. And you know, he just turned into racist because he thought I was a Roma. And the entire class thought I was a Roma. And so they were racist. 12, 13, 14-year-old kids, just racist. That's what they were thought to be. And of course there was also homophobia. If trans people were known back then as much as they are now, there would have been transphobia as well. Well, at least I'm not gay, so I didn't get that. It always bothered me. I mean, I definitely participated in slurs when I was a kid, but I grew out of it. Some adults grow into it. You know. And so, you know, I was bullied, I was ostracized. I wasn't the only one. I mean, I saw it everywhere. You know, some girls would just get molested by their peers because they had a nice ass. That's what they were told. They had a nice ass. One guy called her the class whore. Some kids would get beaten up. I would get verbally bullied, and when I complained to one teacher, he just told me to get in, to go, you know, because class was starting. Couldn't give the first shit. All these people failed us, all of us. One of the girl was humiliated by the physics teacher. Because what the physics teacher had done is he'd pretend to go. I mean, he did leave the classroom, but he'd left his phone in a way that, you know, most of us couldn't see, I guess. But what we didn't know is that he was recording us to see if we would cheat on the test. And one girl cheated, because why wouldn't he? I mean, I cheated probably dozens of times. I couldn't give a fuck. I couldn't give a fuck now. I cheated on my fucking Matura exam. We all cheated because they let us. Nobody gives a fuck. But you know, she got humiliated by this asshole because she cheated. It's like, who fucking cares? And you know, there was a little kerfuffle with that. And then, you know, when I went to high school, I was fucked by then. I mean, I went through 4 different high schools and I couldn't find my way in a single one. You know, the first school I went to was trade school. You know, I don't know if that's the right term, but it's called, you can go, I guess it's technical high school, I guess. I don't fucking care. And I was studying to be a stone, what the fuck do you, a brickie, you know, what do you call it? Bricklayer, right? And the only reason I went there is because the school was nearest to my home. It's literally the only fucking reason I went there. And I said so to the teacher when he asked me. I could not give a shit. You know, could not give a fuck. Back in elementary school, the literature teacher asked us to write our feelings about graduating elementary school, and I wrote, "I'm glad I can get the hell out of here." And she congratulated me for being honest, but also chided me for being honest, for using a rough term. You know, I said, "I'm glad I can get the hell out of here." You know. And yeah, so I was there for like a month, and I hated the kids. They sucked. You know, these boys want to establish their dominance because we're just fucking animals at the end of the day. And I just hated them. They were homophobic. They bullied some kid, and I didn't really participate, but I did say some remark that probably instigated it too. I was just glad I wasn't bullied for the first time. I was glad it wasn't me. Although I was kind of picked on too, because they thought I was egotistic because I went through kind of like a gym phase. But anyway, once there was an exam, we had to build a wall. Literally, we had to build a wall, and you know, it wasn't like a real wall, like you could break it down. Like it was some fake mortar or something. I don't fucking care. Maybe it was only sand or some weird substance that you know, that couldn't harden, or maybe it didn't have enough time to harden. So I built it, and it was, the guy comes up to measure it, the teacher. We had to call him Master, literally. We had to call him Master. The guy goes with his measuring stick, you know, that fucking yellow measuring stick that has like a water bubble. I don't know what the fuck it's called. He measures it sideways. He measures it vertically. Yeah, like vertically and horizontally. And he says, well, that's an F in Hungarian lingo, you know, F. Fail. My wall was neither straight nor level, because I couldn't give a fuck. And I wasn't doing it badly on purpose either. I guess I just suck at everything, you know. I have no capacity for mechanical things, and I also have no capacity for math. The only thing I can do is like very abstract philosophy and linguistic things, and I'm pretty artistic, but I suck at everything else. And so I got an F, and I felt like shit. And you know, I didn't like the guys, I didn't like the guy, so I left. Second school I went to was a progressive school. It was a Waldorf school, a progressive liberal school kind of thing. And we had wasn't going to do much detail because it didn't work out either. I sucked. I didn't do anything. I was kicked out. Well, technically I wasn't kicked out because I was on trial. Trial period. I was on trial period. So technically I wasn't accepted, but basically I was kicked out. So, I feel cool having been kicked out of a school. I like that rap sheet. But, the story I want to tell from there is that we had gym class, PE, and we were playing a kind of game where, I think there were like 4 teams, and each team was in one side of the rectangle. Like obviously the gym room is rectangular, so you have 4 sides of the court, and so in each side there would be one team, and from each team there was one person who was running around, and the point was to catch people from another side, as the catcher, catch them, and then hold them into, like drag them into your own side, right? So like the upper left or something. And when I had been in elementary, the girls wouldn't touch me. That was the shtick. I was one of the guys that you couldn't touch because I was disgusting or something, And then, we were playing this game. And then, one girl was the catcher and I was outside. I don't know what my task was. I guess we were just... I guess the point was to just run around. You had to... I don't know if I had to do something, but you had to, like, run around. And then the catcher would catch you, and she caught me. She grabbed me by the hand, and then she would just pull me into her side and leave me there. And I remember feeling awed that I was touched by a girl. It wasn't the first time I was touched by a girl, but mostly I was bullied, so... it just felt good that I was touched, and, we would play games later where you would have to, like... You pretty much grab their asses, We had to play games where we'd, like... we'd make a chair, like 2 guys would make a chair by mingling their hands, by linking their hands together in a weird kind of, I don't know what the shape, and yeah, they would just sit on our hands, and it was their asses, it was nice. We're touching ass, good. It was nice. I was a pervert always, degenerate like everybody else, maybe even more, but I think most people are degenerates, so who cares. Anyway, the point is, I got kicked out because I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't do jack shit when I was told to read. I complained that I don't read. And we had to do like a performance, I said I'm just not gonna do it. Fuck you, And eventually it led me to being kicked out. And I was so unpopular, The one guy I befriended told me, he said, "You're very strange," and I asked why. Well, I can't talk to you. Like he said, one can't talk to you. It's impossible for one to talk to you. Because I wouldn't say anything back, because I had no personality back then. I was just nothing. Somehow I was just nothing. Or I guess I had a personality, but it was in me. I would not let it out. And then, the rest is not very interesting. I went to a third progressive alternative school, and there was a bunch of shit crazy people running around. I liked it. In retrospect, I really like it because I like weird people. There's a lot of crazy people running around. It was shitty. It was good and it was shitty. I basically didn't have to do jack shit. And then I was homeschooled for a while, but still linked to the same school. If that makes any sense, I had to go do like fucking exams, but it was easy. But then my status was fucked, deleted, pulled because of government regulations. I ended up finishing school at night school with adults, and so that links back to the first story about the feminist bitch. And those people were extremely nice to me. My colleagues, my classmates were really nice. I really fucking loved that camaraderie. But I couldn't function even there. I humiliated myself. I almost humiliated myself on purpose. Have you ever read the book No Longer Human by Osamu Dazai? I was kind of like that guy. Or like Charles Bukowski a little bit, If you read him, I really like him. I also had severe acne. I still have acne. My face is all scarred, so I'm very similar to Charles. And I'm very similar to that guy in No Longer Human. And so, first day we were asked to introduce ourselves. And when I stood up to introduce myself, I was like, hey, I'm a weirdo, I have a mental illness, whatever, I'm socially anxious. And I was expecting them to laugh and make fun of me. I kind of wanted it because I guess I have a sort of fetish for humiliation fetish, right? Because I guess that's a kind of self-defense mechanism to actually laugh and enjoy it when people make fun of you. And so I would have enjoyed it, but they didn't give me anything. And I was like, what the fuck, they're so nice. The teachers were shitty, retarded, I was smarter than I was probably smarter than all of them, Just stupid, at the very least, outdated, silly, pointless assholes. Almost everyone. Maniacal. Kind of like stressed out, mentally screwed a little bit. Because they have very low pay in Hungary. And so they treat you like shit because they hate themselves and the world, I guess. I don't fucking know. And that was a genital girl. Well, a woman. And this woman was so fucking miserable, man. She would never say hi, she would tell me. I would ask, she was cleaning and, she was kind of in my way, and I asked, can I go? And she said, yes, but I didn't hear. So I asked again, can I go? And then she was like, yeah. This fucking bitchy attitude. She hated her fucking life. Miserable. I'm gonna have to wrap this up soon, but shit. I don't want to do this. Well, I mean, I'm zooming in, but I don't want to zoom in. Fuck. Get the fuck out of here, man. Okay, I'm just gonna wait until it leaves. Okay. The point, because I have this zoom thing on my screen. Okay, it's gone. Anyway, I graduated from there. It was a pointless piece of shit. But I discovered I was good at the essay writing. The guy who had to stick up his ass, the literature teacher, Hungarian teacher, we call it. It's different from English here. He noticed my talent, and it made me feel good. And the thing is, I was mostly just fucking around. Like, I barely studied for the essays. When we had to do like poetic analysis, poetry analysis, literature analysis in general. And I was mostly just making that shit up because I was smart enough to make shit up. I would throw in some philosophy, some big words, and I would some technical words, and I had the guy in awe, and I was mostly just bullshitting. One day I didn't even study. I'm pretty sure one time I didn't even fucking study a word. And I went in and I literally wrote my best essay yet in terms of the score I got. He never gave me a complete perfect score, but I think once I came like very fucking close. And that was the time where I didn't even prepare. And there was maybe another time, you know. Anyway. So then I applied to university, but then decided against it. Knowing I couldn't do it, I couldn't stay in university. Plus, what kind of money can you make studying philosophy or something? Plus, I don't have the discipline. I hate school. I hate people. I don't have a long attention span. I don't give a shit. So I have studied philosophy. I've studied a lot of things over the past couple of years since I've been a NEET. Since I was a NEET, since I began being a NEET. So I'm fairly informed, but everything just pisses me off. I hate people. I hate politics. I don't think it's worth anything. It's just wasting your time for the most part. People just bickering, saying what they have to say to satisfy their little cliques and audiences. What's the fucking point of me going up there and saying my progressive beliefs and then having some asshole tell me I'm wrong? Who cares? Fuck it. So then I went to programming school and I suck at math. I didn't even have to do math at the end of high school because I was exempted. Kind of like when you don't have to go to the military or something. You get an exemption. I don't know what's the word. Maybe there's a word for it. I was free. But I was stupid, so I decided I would be a programmer for money. And I fucking sucked. I can't do some programming, but the stuff they were putting in my face I just couldn't take. It was too hard, too complex for my stupid fucking math diseased brain. It doesn't work. And so I've been a NEET ever since. I have some money from crypto. I got lucky on crypto. I bought some Shiba Inu. I didn't sell at the right time. I could have been mega rich, but I fucked up. So now I have enough money so that I can probably live. I don't have to hang myself. But maybe I don't even know if I still have the money. I don't fucking care. Oh shit. I think I have enough money to buy an apartment and rent it out. I think that's the amount of money I have. It's about all I need to survive, but I'm never gonna be rich. I'm never gonna have a good life anyway. I'm just too miserable. I have problems. I'm not deeply mentally ill, but I'm clearly fucked. I'm deeply pessimistic. I have an anxiety disorder for sure. Who knows what I don't know what else I have. I never got the official notice. I never got an official note, even though I went to the psychiatrist. I've been to 2 different psychiatrists, and they put me on some pills. But this was a long time ago. I'm just not happy. I can't be because I'm too pessimistic, and the anxiety just inhibits me, and I get depressed. So I have no plan. I have nothing. I just want to do something. And this was an attempt at doing something. Voila, it's 1 hour. I could go on, but there's not much else to say about myself. I could go on, but it would only get more depressing. You know. Hopefully it was somewhat enjoyable. Hopefully it's something, you know. Because you know what fucks me up? How people identify you, you know, how you, when you put something out there, people just think of you as death. And I've always been afraid of being boxed in. Like, I don't want to be the neat guy in the forest, you know. It terrifies me that people box you in, you know. It terrifies me that I can't do more. You know, that they just identify you by what you put out there yet. You know, for now. And you want to do more. But they already see you as the guy who's only achieved so much. I guess you can see that I'm addicted to this idea of achieving something, but it's not for status, not really for, you know, a blowjob. It's just because I feel like I need to do something, just because I just need to do it. I guess I want to be recognized, but I feel like it's more than that. I feel like this is something that needs to be out there. I need to make something, just because doing nothing is unacceptable. And I've never been able to do it, and you know. Fuck. I guess I should probably stop. I could go deeper. But, you know, I've already put a big load. Well, that's not a nice way of phrasing it. I've already imposed quite a bit of complexity on you, I think. Especially in the first half. And then I put some depression in the other half. So, you know, I think it's a lot to take in. Anyway, you know. I don't know if I'm overestimating myself, but I feel like I'm a pretty intense person to like comprehend or deal with. You know, this avalanche of fucking weird out there shit that most people could never relate to for the most part. You know, I don't even know if they understand. They don't understand. They're so stupid. People don't have a lot of wisdom. Very few people out there who have a lot of wisdom. They just have knowledge and they speak. They're just stupid. They're unwise. They can't get it. You know. I mean, it's pretty simple. Life is not good, but you can make it better with some kind of progressive social democratic policy. They don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. They want to conspire against each other and beat each other and kill each other. They don't want to get it done. They suck. They just want to win. They're addicted. They're sick. You know. Am I supposed to be the sick one out here? I don't have a job. Am I the sick one, really? I don't think so. I mean, I am sick in a way, but I don't want to be cliche, but it's, you know, the normies, the normal people, they you know, the world leaders, the system, that's sick. And it's not crazy talk, you know. It's not crazy talk. I mean, you go to the grocery store, and you know, this new fucking grocery store, upgraded, and it looks like you're in, you know, South Korea or something. It's fancy, it's new, and then you have a homeless couple on the curb begging. Like that's sick, you know. That's not just me talking crazy, right? I feel like my battery's dying. Probably have to get the fuck out of here soon. Yeah. If I don't stop myself, I could go on for like 4 or 5, who knows what. I could sit here all day and talk, but there's always a risk of, losing your, coherence and saying things that make sense to you, but to most people it doesn't, and it's your fault. Like, you need to be coherent, can't just ramble like a lunatic, and there's definitely a danger of doing that. But I think everything I said made some kind of sense. Because I feel like it's easy to mistake a guy in a forest for a lunatic, and it's like, I'm not crazy. Point me to where I went wrong. Okay, I've been pretty vague for the most part, but I can't make an entire I can't give you all the arguments in 1 hour. I mostly just touched on things. But to make an entire argument for like a political system or something, that would take like an hour or two. Like, I want to make an argument for why I don't believe in God, or why I think social democracy is good. But I need to re-defend it properly. I know how to argue, I've been thinking about this shit and doing it for years, Anyway, I think this is for now, and maybe I'll do something else later. I gotta stop at some point, so bye. Oh, awkward. I put on the Zoom bullshit again. I have to wait till it's gone. Okay. No, I put it on again. How the fuck do I stop this video? I can't fuck this up, dude. It just keeps putting on the Zoom thing.